Oh, I forgot to change the league record, huh? My bad, fam. My bad. It wasn't the tombs, it was the mana crypt, okay? They lost like 5 mana crypt flips. Alright. Excellent deck. Change my. Oh, please be Doomsday. Oh, this hand is so good versus Doomsday. If opponent doesn't have Force of Will or Daze from my Arbiter, oh, it's so good versus Doomsday. This card is great versus Doomsday, and this card is great. It's good versus Doomsday. If they're PO, we're probably. I think I'm supposed to put this Archon first because I would rather the Archon not get dazed. Obviously, I could Jailer and draw a card every turn, but I don't think that's good. You can't search your library with Doomsday, yeah. I think I would rather play the Archon first. Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm really bad at Magic, guys. This is not like Deafening Silence. This is all spells. That's my bad. Sorry. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, my chat. Look at the Arbiter, Flooded Strand, Wasteland. Opponents in misery. The opponent has conceded. Oh, they lost connection for the game. They didn't concede. They didn't concede. It's not over yet. But is it not over yet? I fucked that up, but I think we're still gonna be okay here. They left the game. That's how sad they were. They turned off the computer. Look how good this is. This card is really good, by the way. For anyone who hasn't actually played with this card yet, this card is of an incredibly high power level in Vintage. Its biggest problem is that I don't know what shell it's good in. The shells that this card is good in are typically bad because in Vintage you want to cast more than one spell, and so no, I like it's very easy to cast. Like cast it off color Moxen. This card is very good. It's just missing a shell. Opponent is back. Opponent is back. Let's see if they found a Force of Will in their last 2 draws. Last draw, actually. Yeah, in Legacy, you have a lot of 3-drops that are good. In Vintage, I actually don't think a lot of the 3-drops are great. I can't play Recruiter because I wanted to play Arbiter. You don't have to play Arbiter. I could see you playing a Recruiter version of this deck. I just didn't want to. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Thank you, Mr. Doomsday. Thank you, Mr. Doomsday. This is the matchup we want to play for sure, though. We're playing 8 Deafening Silence against Doomsday. Like, yeah, that's the one. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in Mindbreak Traps. And I'm going to bring in maybe Surgical Extraction if I find other cards I don't want. Like, Relic Warrior doesn't really have any targets for Doomsday unless you hit, like, a Necropotent, in which case you've probably already lost. We're playing, like, prelates, like... Remember how I was, like, saying how many things are good against drawing cards in our deck? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've considered off-color Moxen, but I like, your 3-drops are so hard to cast. I don't know. Like, maybe you need off-color Moxen so that you can play all of these cards on turn 1. The problem is a lot of the time your off-color Moxen are also pairing off with your 10 Wastelands. It's like a little hard to justify off-color Moxen. I think that, like, you don't want to get splash hated by Oof so badly. Like, maybe you can cut Aether Vial and play a bunch of off-color Moxen, but it's just, like, it's a little hard to justify. It's a little hard to justify. I think if you cut Aether Vial and played 4 off-color Moxen, then maybe that's fine. The problem is, like, the off-color Moxen, you only want on turn 1, and, like, that's basically it. Like, this hand's also super good, right? Like, I'm playing turn 1 Deafening Silence. And then next turn I could play, like, Aether Vial Wasteland. Like, they have to have, oh, they're just killing me on turn 1. Oh, they're playing Necropotence. Alright, well. That's a restricted card. That's also a restricted card. That wasn't a lot of cards, though. They could have drawn more cards than that. So they have to have one of their, like, 10 or 12 free counter spells for the silence. But if they don't have one of those, they actually... This Deafening Silence could be good enough. Ponder's also restricted. That's just cheating. But here's what I'm saying. Like, this is so many Wastelands. Like, if you also had off-color Moxen, I don't know. Are you gonna Doomsday? Go to 5. We Wasteland you, and then we Ghost Quarter you. I guess all they need is to draw them all at the end of turn here. And then they can always Lotus. No, they can't cast... Oh, yeah. Lotus Thassa will be enough. So is there any way I can actually combat this? They play a chain. They play 2 chains post-board, probably. I actually don't think I have any outs here. The problem is that we're never going to get to do anything to their pile, because if they're smart, they'll just pay 4 life on their turn right now to draw their top 4 cards. And so what they'll do is they'll draw 4 cards, and then they can just go, like, chain my silence Lotus Thassa. They only drew 1 card. Oh, I should have gone Ghost Quarter. Sorry. You're totally right. I should have definitely have gone Ghost Quarter here. I should definitely have gone Ghost Quarter. Oh, they went for Gush. Yeah, that's also going to kill us. Because now they just go Lotus Thassa because this is non-creature. Yeah, I don't think we were ever beating that hand without a Mindbreak Trap, unfortunately. I guess if we had, like, Lotus Archon might have been good enough. Yeah, I mean, that's Doomsday. That's why Doomsday is the best deck in Vintage. Just turn 1 all the time. Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah, they don't have to shuffle off Ghost Quarter. You were totally right. Maybe we do just need to have off-color Moxen, though. I don't think turn 1 Arbiter would have done anything there. Why would turn 1 Arbiter have done anything? Like, pretty irrelevant, right? Draw like a million cards? I guess so. Yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah, maybe we do just need 5 off-color Moxen and no Aether Vials. But I just, like, I'm just, like, a little worried with our... Maybe, like, we have to lose the Ghost Quarters at that point. That's what I'm kind of worried about. I mean, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. But I wanted to try porting Aether Vial first. To be fair, originally this deck didn't have as many cards that were 1 and a white. I think I have to take away Ghost Quarters. If we play 5 off-color Moxen, I think the Ghost Quarters need to become like Horizon Canopies. Like more white lands that draw cards, I think. So my plan here is to hope that they play an Underground Sea and surgically extract all of their Underground Seas. That's what I'm trying to do here. It's kind of hard for opponent. Well, fuck. They got their island. Do I change my plan now to try to get to prelate? Probably. I disagree. We have we were already on a mole. I don't think so. Yep, top. Like, with 2 extractions, you should be able to stop a Doomsday for long enough. And with the ability to strip mine, like, strip mine Underground Sea is like a very real way to beat Doomsday. But now that opponent has no land drops, I am just gonna straight up strip mine their island. Oh, we're gonna definitely surgically. Wait, they don't have a land though. Why are they mysticaling, right? They didn't play a land that turn. Maybe they have an Underground Sea that they were trying to protect from Wasteland. Is that what's happening here? So I should have surgicaled first to mess up their top draw and maybe forced a Force of Will. No, I actually think 2 surgicals are pretty good here. I think I wasn't supposed to play the Spirit. I think I was supposed to surgical. Like, the only reason they would mystical for a Dark Ritual is if they had the Black Source in hand. But they didn't play a Jet that turn, and they didn't play an Underground Sea. So maybe they were trying to protect an Underground Sea from a possible Wasteland surgical. So I think we are supposed to just hit this pre-order. I'm just like trying. It's like a little weird. Like, I don't want to mess up their top draw if Dark Ritual if they can't cast Dark Ritual. So they did have Force. I'm just gonna fucking do it again then. So they held an Underground Sea. Interesting. If they kept in negation against me, that'd be fucking insane. So they have Underground Sea, Street Wraith, Doomsday. I should have checked their whole deck, but they drew Black Lotus? Yeah, he could have Street Wraith. Definitely should have done that. In response to Spirit of the Labyrinth. So what do they have? They have Dark Ritual in their hand. And a Street Wraith. So they can't Street Wraith this turn. Is there a prelim gonna fire? I really shouldn't play in a prelim because I want to go to bed. Oh, this prelim's never firing. Oh, Ritual C. Wait, what? C Street Wraith. No. Ritual C. No Ritual. C Street Wraith. C Street Wraith. Which is really bad for us. It's really, really bad for us. If we can draw a land so that we can prelate on Black Lotus, I think we have a chance here. His opponent is going to go with like a pile that includes maybe a land and a Time Walk because they can't draw multiple cards a turn. Or they're gonna like Street Wraith on my turn a bunch. But if we can hit a land and we can play Prelate on 0 so that we can Lotus. Only Archon would only win if they didn't include. No, Archon wouldn't win because they would eventually be able to play Thassa's Oracle. I think our best play is by prelating on a Lotus. We just didn't hit it. I don't think they can win like this turn. Well, let's see. They draw on my turn, and then they draw on their turn, and then they time walk. So here they go. Oh. Yeah, I guess you can do that too. So now we just lose. All right, whatever. This is like super frustrating though. What a fucking ridiculous draw. Just draw Black Lotus off the top. Pretty fucked. But that's just like really fucking stupid. Because we just need to draw a land there, and their line is like super greedy, super greedy. All we need to do is draw a land and prelate on 0, and they just lose. Really frustrating. Really frustrating. That's like the greediest line opponent could possibly have taken with their Doomsday as well. Like, I think there are a lot better Doomsday piles than that. Like, if I have a second Spirit or a second Thalia or anything, if I have literally any spell, their line is terrible. Yeah. Doomsday is like one of our best matchups, and that's pretty sad. I think almost every card at my deck at that point, besides the shitty Aether Vial, like Silence would have, if I drew Silence, if I drew Thalia or land, I guess that's not that many. Yeah. No. No. Our Surgical was really good. Our Surgical stopped them from Doomsdaying. They had Underground Sea Doomsday, and they put a Dark Ritual on the top of their library. We Surgicaled and we stopped their Dark Ritual from being drawn. They just happened to draw a Black Lotus instead. Like, what am I gonna do? I don't think you want them to Doomsday and just hold my Surgical as a way to shuffle their Doomsday pile. I think that's like, it's super unnecessarily greedy when it's highly unlikely for them to Doomsday if I just stop them from Doomsdaying. I don't agree with you, Kimlin. I don't agree with that statement at all. It's not a mull. That hand's good enough against Doomsday. You should keep it. If I had like 5 Moxen in my deck, I would maybe agree with you so that we could go for a turn 1 2-drop. But because I didn't put 5 Moxen in my deck, I don't actually think that they're like, I actually think that hand is good. If opponent doesn't have fetch land there and plays Underground Sea, we win on the spot. And if opponent doesn't progress, then we play those 3-drops and we win. And if opponent has a crazy hand, we have a Surgical to buy us time, and we have a Strip Mine already for opponents. Like, I don't think